Liv, we're back on the mic for Real Talk.
It's
Leonie.
and Liv.
Oh, wow, we nailed it. It only took us like 100 and
Third
something
time's a
episodes.
charm for this season. Yeah, girl.
So guess what? We are in party zone today because this is our 200th episode.
I am incredibly proud of you and this
Crazy.
third child that you have created and all that it has brought us. So cheers to you and well done.
Oh, thank you. And to you two for staying by my side for a
Do
lot
I
of
have a
that journey.
choice? No, I love it. I have had so much fun over the last few years and
Yeah.
it's become something I really look forward to.
Isn't it?
Sharing just our real life stories
Real
of being
life
parents and
stories.
navigating this crazy thing we call life.
It's so crazy. And yeah, I mean, it's to those of you who have like a vision, I guess, that you're like, oh, I'd like to do that or whatever it looks like, whatever that looks like for you. I say go and get it. Go get
Go
it,
and
Tiger.
get it.
Because you just never know.
Yeah. If you're prepared to work hard,
Yeah,
which I know the blood, sweat and tears that you put into this child, like he's literally a child, the amount of effort, love, energy that you have poured in. Yeah, but it's like anything in life. Nothing comes easily.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of you for continuing to go for it.
Yes, thank you. And it's and it has been good. I mean, I guess, as far as the achievement last year, us being at the podcast awards, which was amazing. This year I'm kind of like, where do I want to go with this? Because obviously for 4 years plus deep, it gets to a point where you're like, well, what's motivating me?
Yeah.
Firstly, I absolutely love our, all of our recordings and things like that. So that absolutely motivates me. As you know, there's a lot that happens behind the scenes, which is, there's components of that I love, others which I find a little more testing. For example, when I'm having to outreach to sponsors and that sales stuff, probably less me. But one thing I realized when I was reflecting on this journey was it can be quite isolating. I mean, we record and we have the best time, but a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, the day-to-day stuff, the Instagram, etc., it can be isolating. And I realized that I don't have many people in my network that are doing similar things. I don't have many people who, get a lot of their income via Instagram, call it, or who have podcasts or whatever it looks like. So this year I was like, okay, I'm actually going to be strategic and make some friends. I'm actually...
Two of your favourite words, being strategic, I mean, with your business now's head on, and then truly only social networking. How can I learn from other people? How can I be part of something? How can I be part of a community?
Because unlike you, I don't go into an office every day and talk to people. In fact, I have my day job, a lot of you would know, is property development.
I've never reflected on that. I totally get that.
Like, I'm on a construction site with a whole bunch of men and I'm doing a few bits and pieces, having a few chats, and then I'm back in my car, I'm back home, I'm doing my paperwork, I'm then podcasting, or, everything's by myself, really, other than my recording days.
No wonder you're like, when Jules gets home, you're like, hello, boy, do I have things that I want to tell you. And he's probably like, I've been talking to people all day.
Right?
I don't, just give me 10 minutes.
Yeah, so for that reason, I've just decided, let me put myself out there. So I'm reaching out to different people who are like different podcasters, really encouraging their work, seeing if they're based in Melbourne, for example, and seeing if we can have a chat. Even PR agencies and things like that, saying, is there an opportunity for me to be on your events list when there is an event that's relevant to parents, which is most brands these days, let's be real. So I just haven't been doing that. And do you know why I hadn't? Because I haven't had the bandwidth, because you know what it's like. I've been looking after babies this whole time. I'm not going to go to an event at 7:00 at night just because I've got 2 little ones. I'm exhausted from the day. But I do feel like now that I feel like we've turned a corner a little. I'd love your thoughts on this too. 4.5 on my little one. Actually, he's nearly 5, and 6 years old are my 2. And all of a sudden, I feel like, I've got a bit more energy. They're sleeping a bit more consistently. I can breathe. And so, yes, maybe I do have bandwidth to go and socialise after hours and meet more people and build a network. I don't know. Do you feel like we've turned a corner? What does your networking look like?
Firstly, where do I begin? So, I do feel like we have turned a corner.
Yeah.
So, my little is 4 and a bit now. He's finally sleeping in his own bed. You've heard me for the last 4 years. He has just been the most horrific sleeper for 4 years and 2 months. And literally the last 2 months, 6 out of 7 nights he's finally in his bed. I feel like a new person. It's been game-changing to just, I mean, I've got an Apple Watch, as you can see. I love my Apple Watch. Sponsor us, Apple. Come on.
They're the ultimate.
Anyway, I track my sleep. I'm just a real data fiend. And, it's been really nice to see, the change in my sleep patterns.
Yeah.
But yes, networking, I mean, socializing, all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
There's definitely a little bit more of that. I socialize within the legal fraternity and my HR network, but I don't do a ton.
But you are surrounded by people all the time.
I'm surrounded by people.
Yeah.
Some of my best friends have become my work colleagues.
Yes.
You've met lots of them. So, I don't have as much bandwidth to add in the socialization that you need, because you're also a social person.
Yes.
Like, you enjoy that. That's you get your energy from other people. So I'm semi-surprised it's taken you nearly 38 years, well, of our work, 10 years of our working life that you've probably been in this environment to do that.
I know. Do you know what it is? On the weekends, I mean, we're very fortunate. We do have quite a large group of friends, just, friends who have accumulated over time. And we're quite loyal people, I think, the two of us. And so we've accumulated these friends and we continue to see, we've got these long-lasting friendships with a lot of people. So I think of a weekend, because I fill my cup up that way with our friends that are non-work related sort of people, I felt that was sufficient. But I'm really excited. So I'll keep everyone posted on whether I've actually found any friends that are, within my...
Oh, my God, just to learn from other people's experiences and how are they finding it, and some of the hardships that you experience. There is so much power in what you can share and learn with other people. So
absolutely.
That's a great idea.
And shout out to those listening who might be in the more creative field, like the podcast world or in Instagram world. DM me. I'm looking for mates.
I'll be your friend.
I'll be your friend. Speaking of friends, so I love these DMs that we're bringing to the table.
So glad you got me another one. Send us more people. This is just so good. DM Lee.
Yes.
I mean, you can DM me too, but I won't be nearly as responsive as Leonie.
So this one I thought was a little juicy and could be a bit controversial, so I wanted your thoughts, Liv. So let me read this. I think I'm captioning this like, am I judgy? Okay, so at a recent kid's birthday party, now, this was sent to me, guys. By the way, this isn't me saying it, which was a real parent party. One of the parents got quite drunk. This was not the first time. This particular mum loves to be social and loves to drink. Preach. I mean, nothing wrong with that. I know I shouldn't judge, but now I'm hesitant when my child asks to go to their house for a play date, because I just don't know if those parents are responsible, in particular that mum.
Yeah.
How do I get over this feeling, or am I just a terrible person for feeling this way?
Okay, I mean, I'm lucky to have this statement in front of me. So I started to circle a few things as you were talking. So the first thing, it was a parent party where, I mean, it sounds like there were perhaps children there, but... I've seen lots of parents perhaps, have a bit to drink at parent parties. I've probably had a bit to drink. I've never embarrassed myself, but I can get that that would be something that happens. It's not the first time, so I guess that perhaps indicates there might be something else going on. And I'm imagining, for this parent to write this in and it to be such a big deal, I think it's fairly extreme. I'm imagining that the alcohol consumption was perhaps embarrassing or something's happened. I'm going to assume. Is that your interpretation too? I know I shouldn't judge. Honey, we all judge. It's just the reality of being human, and we are so happy that we can help you with this. And do I totally normalize that feeling of that person being hesitant about, okay, they might not be drinking, but it's just made me question their values perhaps, or safety, or, we spoke about in an earlier episode, just, how you manage behaviour, how present are they, as an example. Yeah. There's probably some ways around it. You could perhaps suggest a play date at the park where both parents are present. Like, is there a halfway house? Might be one of the other options for them. Yeah. The other thing that obviously occurs to me is, I mean, it is a play date, but you've got to trust your intuition. Like, this person's intuition is like alarm bells, something's not quite right. And if you're someone whose intuition tends to be right, then sister girlfriend, you're onto something. And don't do anything that you think puts you or your family at risk. We all know as parents, our number one job is to keep our baby safe. Like, that's literally my motto in life. My job is to keep you safe, boys. I say it all the time. They're sick of me. Like, I'm trying to teach them that now. So when they get to 16 and they want to go to a party and I say no, it will be because you know I'm trying to keep you safe.
Yeah.
That is my motivation.
Yeah.
What comes to mind for
I
you
think you're
hearing
right.
this?
So if that you've got this party parent, and like I should just say
I
first
reckon
up,
like
we love a party.
is
We
this
could
one
be
of
the
my
party
friends? Like
parents.
this could be one of my friends writing in about me.
It's so 100%. And same with, we all, we particularly love a good
Yeah.
time. I have to say though, I agree. There's obviously a level of
I think this is
impracticing.
extreme.
This is not just like someone's having a jolly all the time. Like so many
these aren't
people
just fun
do.
people. This is
like
something's
maybe
gone
I'm stumbling.
wrong.
Maybe I've pushed a chair over. Maybe
I've yelled, I've been yelling, attacking people.
Correct. Like it's a little bit obviously, socially inept in this way. So look, if you're seeing behavior like that and it's constantly coming up for you, I agree. It's kind of like, well, because I think a one-off, no drama. I probably wouldn't even think that much about it. Oh, that person had a bit too much to drink. They just tripped over and hurt themselves. Oh, well, like whatever. But if it's happening a lot, I then would agree in that, agree as to what you just said around, maybe I don't feel as comfortable with my child being in your care all the time, because if it's happening in front of me, perhaps like you start thinking what's happening behind closed doors.
This could have been like 11 o'clock at night, right? If it's a play date at 4 o'clock after school, then they're two totally different situations.
Yes.
But if it's more like your gut is just saying that there is something about the way that perhaps they parent or what their values are in their home that don't align with yours, you are not being judgy. You are just protecting your child, and all power to you. You should not worry about what anyone else thinks.
No.
And like I said before, if it really matters to your child that they're desperate to hang out with their little bestie and you don't want to stop, I can imagine, that's a hard thing to really intervene in, then you just got to meet at a play centre.
Come to my house instead.
Come to my house.
I have the children at mine so I can look
it doesn't have to be a deal breaker. Get to know the parent a little bit more so that you can make a full assessment. Would probably be the other thing that comes to mind. How well do you know this person? Yes. Is there something else going on for them?
Well, that's what came to mind for me as well, because if you're drinking a lot in front of, and in places like, kids' parties and things. I think I hear parent party, and we often say it's the parent party when there's a children's party, but there's a section where a few parents are having a few drinks and things. And
that's certainly been the case at some of my parties.
Absolutely. A lot of ours where we have that. There's the champagne.
It's actually more of a parent party than a kids' party.
Right.
It's an excuse.
Yeah. Kids are with the entertainer, parents having champagne, happy days. And I've had, kids parties that have gone into the evening as well, but everyone's jovial and having a good time. So it's not something that my radar would be up on. The only time it would be up is if, as you said, something had happened, an incident or something, and you're like, that incident continues to happen. Yeah. This is very awkward. The other thing that comes to mind as well is like school culture, or so I know, for example, our school, the parent, because you read the room, right? The parents love to have a, quiet champagne, whatever, but they're not big drinkers, right? So I then go, great, I know my audience. So
self-regulate.
Right? So I'm not going to be doing my tabletop dancing like I do with you, Liv. When we're out, you play into your crowd, right? Yeah. So I actually wouldn't feel safe drinking, not safe, but I'd feel silly drinking too much in front of them because they're not all on the same page.
Yeah, it's like a work, and it's like a work event too, right?
You're kind of like,
know your audience.
Know your audience, and that's more to the other person, I guess. If they're the ones getting a bit too loose, I'd be like, okay, well maybe if you want to have a big night like that, hang out with your closest mates, where you all know each other from every which way.
Everyone's got their phones away.
Going to judge you. So that's the thing. So, but it's interesting because I know there's a school near ours, kind of a well-known Melbourne school. Actually, I won't dob them in, but I know
don't dob them in. They'll come for you.
I know. Their parents have a lot more of a party culture. Right. So I know the parents do, they'll go and see DJ sets together, without the children, but they'll have big nights together, or they'll all go to so and so's house in the morning to Peninsula, and it's like a big a big party, right? So, and I'm like,
it's a bender.
It's a bender. I think we would have said it.
I have not used that word in a decade. Thank God it's good.
And
Let's bring it back.
this is amazing. Like in that, not amazing, but like interesting because you guys all new to each other, and these are the younger years. Like my friend who's in that year level, their child's in grade 1. She knows the prep year level of parents were quite wild, but they all felt safe enough because I guess they're all on the same level, and and my friend was like, I can't keep up with them, so often I'll just select the events that I attend because I'm not a big drinker and I know what that's going to be.
Wow,
and I'm like, interesting.
This is fascinating.
So there are groups of parents who are just
I have heard that our primary school trivia night goes off.
Did you go last year?
Well, it's every second year.
Oh,
so I will give an update.
Report back.
I will give an update. I will not, like Leonie, disclose the primary school that my children are at. But I have heard from friends that this is the greatest party to ever happen in a gymnasium ever. Everyone walks, right? And then because everyone lives so close to the primary school and everyone just rolls home, apparently.
Yeah, right. Because I also think there's something to be said about when you feel you can like loose a little bit more around a bunch of people. You all get to know each other pretty well because you're like,
bit of social lubrication.
Yeah, exactly. So I think my biggest thing would be, listen to your gut, and I read my audience. I'm like, I know I'm going to have a silly night with, my closest friends and we can all be silly together and no one will really think much of it because we've been doing that for 20 years. And then there's a new bunch of school mum friends that I'm like, okay, I know, like I'll still have fun, but I just keep a lid on it a bit more. So I don't know, that's where I would go. And this is why, speaking to your comment around, is there more to the story, is this person,
my advice is get to know this parent.
Having a tough time.
Okay, like I'm normalising a judgment. That is just a response to protecting your child, but get to know the parent. And you can make an informed decision through that and trust your gut. Like, we're right 9 times out of 10. Like, you really are.
100%. And there could be an opportunity to perhaps support them if that person is actually going through a really tough time, using that, and maybe that's why their actions are the way they are. We just don't know. We don't know what happens behind closed doors.
Be curious.
So be curious, yes. And you should let loose too.
And if this is me and I've upset any of my friends, feel free to talk to me about it.
Yes. Leave it there. We'll catch you next time, Liv.
See ya. That was funny.
Yeah.